Good evening everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S exam prep. So today we are going to talk about other MBA entrance examinations apart from CAT that you can target. Okay, so CAT is the biggest MBA entrance examination in India, written by over 2 lakh candidates, and it is the gateway to get into the top IIMs, right? In fact, all the IIMs take CAT only, and there are some other non-IIMs as well which accept CAT score. However, there are certain other what if you do not do well in CAT, right? So there are other entrance examinations as well which are for some premier B schools in the country. So we are going to discuss all those examinations. What are those examinations? What is common in all those examinations? What is the difference? Right? If one is preparing for CAT, can one target other MBA entrance examinations also? Or if let's say what are the differences if your caliber is not up to the mark of CAT and you feel that CAT has very difficult DILR, or maybe you are not so good at quant, so what other examinations can you target? Or if you want to pursue certain specific course, let us say you want to pursue MBA in HR, right? So what are the top institutes that you could target through some of the examinations? And let's say you want to go into marketing and all. So we'll discuss about all these examinations in today's session. Okay, so let's begin that what is about these. Okay, this is our YouTube schedule. You can subscribe to our channel and get updates on all these videos. And we have launched a crash course for CAT 2021. So if you wish to enroll in it, you can join the same. And we have also launched another batch for CAT 2022. So these are the major MBA entrance examinations in India: CAT, XAT, IIFT, SNAP, NMAT, TISSNET, Maharashtra CET, CMAT, MAT, MICAT. So these are the different MBA entrance examinations. So we'll be discussing these. Apart from CAT, what all you could target, and what are the pros and cons? Not exactly pros and cons, but basically what is needed to crack different examinations. Okay, so this table basically summarizes the different examinations. Okay, so primarily all examinations consist of 3 sections mandatory, and some examinations have the 4th section, which is GK. Okay, and there are some good number of examinations like TISSNET, CMAT, IIFT, right? Even XAT has a GK portion. We'll discuss about that. Okay, now these are the different sections and some characteristics of different examinations. For example, CAT is known for its difficult DILR section and difficult RCs, right? Inference based questions. Okay, then if you talk about XAT is altogether a very difficult paper, right? So I would rate that XAT is much more difficult than CAT. Okay, the cutoffs you see, the level of questions, be it quant, be it verbal, right, or be it the decision making section. So there is a section called decision making which is unique to this examination. Okay, then IIFT is another paper which is difficult, and it has very lengthy questions. And if you read long RCs, calculation intensive data interpretation. Okay, quant also very lengthy questions, verbose questions. Okay, SNAP, if we talk about SNAP, is a speed based test. You have to do 60 questions in 60 minutes. Okay, then you have NMAT, which is an adaptive test. Okay, and it has recently shifted to adaptive test. It is slightly different from other examinations. It is like you choose your order of sections, you can take it multiple times and all those things, right? So it invites you that you write the examination, get a good score, and then join our institute. Okay, then TISSNET is for HRM, right? So it is not an MBA course at TISSNET, it is an MA course, right? MA in Human Resource Management. Okay, so TISSNET is another important examination if you are targeting a premier institute with high ROI. Okay, that is Tata Institute of Social Sciences. So in this paper, GK is the decider because 40 out of 100 questions are from GK. Okay, then Maharashtra CET is a speed based test, 150 minutes, 200 questions. It is generally banking pattern examination, right? The type of questions that you get in banking and SSC, those are the type of questions you usually get in this paper. And if we talk about CMAT, CMAT is an easy paper. You have 180 minutes, right? And 100 questions to be solved, very easy questions. GK is the decider, because other three sections, quant, reasoning and English, if one has prepared well, even if a person is moderate, would be able to score reasonably high, and plus the time is so much that you can easily solve the questions. So here GK is the decider, the 25 questions of GK that decide that where will you eventually end up scoring. So now let us discuss these examinations in detail. Before that, let us see the common features. What are the common features in all these examinations? What are the differences, right? So if you are preparing for, let's say you are preparing for CAT, right? Can you write other examinations? Yes, you can, because see, the core concepts like English, reasoning, quantitative aptitude are tested in almost all examinations. I mean, in fact, all examinations, right? Just that that the difficulty level may vary, the type of questions may vary, okay, but these are the core subjects in all the three examinations. These three sections are present in all examinations, as we saw in the table as well. Okay, most concepts of these three are common in all the examinations. RC आता है, किसी में difficult RC आ जाएगा, किसी में easy आ जाएगा, but concept वही रहता है RC का, right? Then you have quant, like arithmetic आ जाएगी, किसी में algebra आ जाएगी, right? They might ask some questions, some examinations might ask you more questions on geometry, right? Some may not ask, some may ask more on arithmetic. Okay, concept, if you have like done the basics, if your basics are clear in these three sections, you should be able to do those. Okay, but what are the differences, right? Why is it why every exam is different? First is difficulty level, right? So there are some examinations like XAT, CAT and IIFT which are difficult in nature. Okay, then there are SNAP and MAT which are moderate to easy, right? And then you have some examinations like CMAT which are very easy. Okay, so difficulty level is different for different examinations. Okay, so some question types are obviously different. For example, you will not encounter vocab based questions in CAT. Okay, they won't ask you grammar questions in CAT, but some examinations will have grammar questions, some examinations will have questions on vocab. Okay, so question types will be different. Some questions might have some examinations might test you on data sufficiency, some might not test you on the same, right? Similarly, in reasoning, some examinations will ask syllogisms, some examinations will not have those. Okay, some examinations will have questions on blood relations, some will not. So those are the different types of questions that you get in different examinations. Then there are certain examinations that have sectional time limits. Okay, when you talk about NMAT, when you talk about CAT, these are the examinations that have sectional time limits. Okay, so you are time bound for each and every section, and you have to maximize your score in that particular section. Whereas there are certain examinations which have no such foundation. XAT has no sectional time limit, right? In fact, your IIFT does not have any time limit. SNAP, most of the examinations do not have, some have, like CAT and this thing, NMAT. Okay, so some examinations test general awareness. I said that they have a test which is a GK test, right? So that is why general awareness is also important, right? Not only from the examination point of view, but from other perspective as well, helpful for your like GDPI rounds. Okay. So now let us look at the pattern of different examinations to understand them better. So XAT is a difficult paper which has I mean, the number of questions keep changing. Last year it was 75. Okay, 75 questions across verbal ability, decision making and data interpretation. Sorry, there is some mistake in this. 26 questions in verbal, 21 in decision making. Okay, so there pardon me for that error, right? 26, 21 and 28, right? So this was the pattern of XAT. Okay, and see, there are two papers. One is your aptitude paper and there is general knowledge paper, right? This general knowledge is just qualifying in nature. You do not have to there is no such cutoff for that. Okay, there is no negative marking also. It is just that they see that this is not counted in score. So your percentile, this is your for your score. Okay, but this is not counted in your score. They separately give that how much you scored in the general knowledge section, right? Unless you are very bad at general awareness, that is not considered. Let's say you just score out of 25, you just got let's say 4 questions correct, that would be very low, right? But if you have got, let's say, 8 to 10 questions correct out of 25, that is fair enough I mean, there is no such cutoff as such, but if it is dismally low, so they might reject you. Okay, so that's the reason they do not count that score, although you will get the scorecard that how much you scored in general awareness. Okay, now it has 3 sections: verbal ability and logical reasoning. That has RCs plus non-RCs as well. It includes grammar, it includes vocab, it includes it is a comprehensive test of verbal ability. Unlike in CAT, which is like more like reading based things, RCs, parajumbles, etc., it has vocab and grammar questions as well. Then there is decision making, which gives you situation based questions and you have to take decisions upon that. Okay, so in decision making you can check past year papers, right? What happens is they will give you a scenario. Let us say so I'll narrate one example of this year, right? So there was an incident that a teacher was there is a teacher, right? Due to COVID, she is taking online classes from her home. Okay, and what happens here is that during the online class, her husband comes to the room in which from which she is taking the class, and he gets her a cup of tea. Okay, then he leaves and he keeps the door I mean, he does not close the door properly. Okay, now they have a child who is playing in the other room. That child is playing with a ball. That ball enters the room and it hits the laptop and that is crashed. Okay, so whose mistake is it, right? Is it the mistake of the husband or what? Now how should she do the next day, right? She has to buy a laptop, right? She cannot purchase it the same day. So what should she do on the next day, right? Should she postpone her class? Should she ask someone else to take a class, right? So those kind of things. So these could be general behavior based, or it could be some business relative, right? So maybe something related to the business, right? What should be done in what cases? Okay, so that is decision making. And of course quant and DI, which are difficult in nature. Okay, so you have 75 questions to be done in 165 minutes, and there is negative marking of 0.25 for every incorrect answer. And if you do not attempt more than 8 questions, once you have 8 unattempted questions, you lose 0.1 mark automatically. Okay, so that is the scoring pattern of XAT. Now talking about IIFT, IIFT is again on the difficult side, because it has multiple sections, like 4 sections. You have to clear all sectional cutoffs, right? And earlier it used to have 6, now it has reduced to 4, so some relief, because it had verbal ability separately, reading comprehension separately, DI was separate and LR was separate. Now they have clubbed those. Okay, now it has like this year it had 110 questions. So generally the number of questions ranges between 105 to 100 and somewhere close to 110, right? Somewhere it might be 105, some years it might be 118, right? So there is a different range, right? They decide for the last 2 years it has been consistent at 110. Okay, now in this all 3 sections are have equal marks. GK has 1.5 marks per question, so total 300 marks to be done in 2 hours, right? So it is a speed plus high difficulty level questions. You have to choose wisely what you want to attempt. So it has very lengthy data interpretation, calculation heavy in data interpretation, very long RCs. Okay, so it's not so it's about like choosing the right set of questions. There are some questions which will be easy in the paper. If you are able to spot them, just do them and then maximize your score. Okay, there is no sectional timing. You are free to shuffle bit across the sections and decide that however you want to score in the paper. Okay, but make sure that you are able to clear the sectional cutoffs. Okay, and there is a negative marking of 1/3 for every incorrect answer. Now snap this pattern was adopted last year and it is to be continued this year as well. Okay, so snap has 60 questions to be done in 60 minutes. Earlier it had 110 questions in 120 minutes. So it's a speed based test. It has always been a speed based test. The difficulty level is not so high, it is moderately difficult. Okay, 15 questions in VARC, okay, and 25 in reasoning and 20 in quant. Okay, so 1 marks per question, no sectional timing, and 25% negative marks for each incorrect answer. So if we talk about this examination, there are 3 dates on it is conducted, right? So there are 3 slots and you can take 2 attempts and your better score is counted, right? So you can take 2 out of the 3 attempts and your better score is counted for your final score. Okay. NMAT is an examination conducted by GMAT, the body that conducts GMAT. Okay, and if you talk about NMAT is a long window, right? So it will begin in October and will go on till December. So precisely 14th October to 27th of December 2021. Okay, so some of you must have already taken the dates and registered for the examination. So long window. So 3 attempts are available. However, this year there is a change that NMIMS, right, the Narsee Monjee, which is the top institute through this examination, will consider only first attempt. Okay, this is a change this year that they will consider only the first attempt. Otherwise, they used to consider the best of the 3 attempts. Okay, now it is altogether a different examination, different format. You could see that time allotted to different sections is different. Okay. So you have language skills, 36 questions, 120 marks, 28 minutes, quantitative 52 minutes, 36 questions, and reasoning 40 minutes, 36 questions. Okay, now what is different in this paper is that a test taker can choose the order of sections, right? So once you enter the hall, I mean when you appear for the examination, you can choose the order in which you want to attempt the paper. So that is something that many people would like, right? Because it gives you a psychological benefit. Suppose you are good with quant, right? So you will definitely love to start with the quant section so that you get confidence in the paper. Okay, so you can choose the order. So you can write it in 6 possible ways. 3 things can be arranged in 6 ways. And a question could be viewed only once. It is like it's an adaptive platform, right? So if you mark an answer, then you cannot jump back to the previous question. And adaptive means that if you get a question right, the next question will be of a higher difficulty level. If you keep getting questions correct, right, the difficulty level will keep on rising. So towards the end of the section, the paper becomes difficult. Okay, and on the flip side, if you get questions wrong, right, the difficulty level will remain the same and subsequently reduce if you continue to get answers incorrect. So the thing is, you should not get questions incorrect in the beginning, right? Try to maintain high accuracy in the beginning so that you are able to reach a higher score in the examination. Okay, so it took that adaptive mode last year itself, and it has a 2-month window. You can take 3 attempts. Okay, and the registrations are open. You can apply for this examination and book your dates. Now talking about TISSNET, right? TISSNET is an examination which is for MA programs at Tata Institute of Social Sciences. It is one of the best institutes in the country when it comes to HRM. Okay, so it has MA program in HRM, and the paper is since it has multiple courses. Right, it has courses for organize. There's a stream called ODCL, Organizational Development and some labor relations. Okay, something related to labor relations as well. So you can apply for that as well. And there are several courses. So if you talk about the paper pattern, it has 30 questions on English 30 on maths and reasoning, which are quite comfortably easy as compared to most of the examinations. However, there are 40 questions in general awareness. If you talk about the cutoff for their MA program, it is last year it was low, around 68. Otherwise, the cutoff is nearly 75, right? So you essentially have to clear the cutoff in general awareness. Even if you clear it, I mean, it looks a low number, but yes, one has to clear in order to get admission to it, right? So heavily focused on GK, 40 questions on GK. So that means that that's a very high number. And if you are good with GK, because these two sections are obviously fine, right? They are not so difficult, so people are able to do well in these two. The main decider is the GK section, okay? And there is no negative marking. So one good thing for you, right? No negative marking, so you can mark some answers randomly in GK and try your luck as well, okay? Now talking about Maharashtra CET MBA, right? The examination was conducted recently, and the examination, the result is going to be published tomorrow. Normally it is held in March, okay? This time it got delayed due to the COVID situation, okay? And I think the result will be out tomorrow, most likely. So, so all the best to the ones who appeared for the examination. Okay, so it consists of 200 questions to be done in 150 minutes, a speed-based test. Till last year, it used to have like sectional, the number of questions were defined per section. So till last year, logical reasoning had 75, right? Abstract reasoning had 25, quantitative aptitude had 50, and VARC had 50. But this time they gave a jumbled paper, so 200 questions to be done in 150 minutes. Okay, so it was not segregated section wise. It used to have the same pattern previously, and for the last few years it was consistent that 75, 25, 50 and 50. Okay, so total time is 150 minutes, and there are MCQs with 5 options. There is no negative marking in the paper, so again a paper wherein you can try your luck. Okay, so remember one thing, that if a paper does not have any negative marking, you could just I mean, mark some flukes, right? And maybe you could get some additional marks, and that what could be your more than your actual marks. Okay, so the top colleges through it is Jamnalal Bajaj. So yes, this is a state-based examination. It is not a national examination. It's a state-based examination. It is primarily for colleges in Maharashtra. Okay, 85% reservation for Maharashtra candidates. So for all India seats is just I mean, very few seats for all India candidates. But still there are some institutes which are really good, like you have Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management, which is probably among the top 20 in the country, and with low fees. So obviously people target that institute, although only 18 seats are available at all India level. Okay, so this is examination Maharashtra seat. Now there is an examination CMAT. Okay, neither very good in difficulty level, okay, neither very great colleges through it, except a few, like of course JB accepts CMAT score as well, right? But it caters to several tier 2 colleges, right? So this is not for tier 1 colleges, mainly for tier 2 colleges. Okay, so it has 100 questions in 4 sections: quantitative techniques, logical reasoning, language comprehension, general awareness, 4 marks each, so 100 marks per section. This year in 2021 they introduced a new section called innovation and entrepreneurship, which had 25 questions again. So it was evaluated for only those candidates who had opted for this section, and the time limit was extra 30 minutes given. Okay, so total marks is 400 or 500 for the candidates who appeared for this. Okay, so it is an MCQ with 5 options, -1 for incorrect answer. Okay, easy paper, but again general awareness is the deciding factor, because you have enough time. You can see 180 minutes just to attempt 100 questions, right? And 100, I mean, general awareness would hardly take 10 minutes. I'm saying 10 is exaggerated number. Even 5 minutes are sufficient to do 25 questions. Okay, it is not at all a speed based test, right? You have enough time to do these 75 questions, and these are very easy. It's you see the papers, and these are really easy except a few questions. Maybe out of 25, 22, 23 would be easy ones. There would be 2 or 3 difficult ones. Okay, so you have enough time to do this. Okay, now talking about the next examination, which is MICAT. So MICAT is for Mudra Institute of Communications, Ahmedabad. Many people do not know about this examination. It's written by a small portion of the people. Around 10,000 people write it. It is conducted twice a year. Okay, so the thing is, MICA, if you've not heard of, you can search for it. It is one of the premier institutes in the country when it comes to marketing management. Okay, so it is very famous for marketing communications. You see brand managers and all coming out of these institutes. So very good for branding and marketing communications. Okay, so now it has entirely different things. It has an aptitude section, but it tests you on your creativity as well and psychometric as well. So there is a psychometric test that gives you situation based questions, right? You have to attempt 150 questions in 30 minutes. There is nothing nothing right or wrong in psychometric thing, right? They might ask you that, are you an introvert person, right? So they might ask you, they will not ask, are you an introvert? They will ask you that, what will you do in this scenario, right? So that suggests that like, do you scold your colleagues often? You will say, I agree, I do not agree, I strongly agree. So those kind of ordinal options, or it could be true false kind of thing, right? They might ask you certain things related to your behavior. So they check your behavior and they check the consistency in your responses. Okay, so that is about the psychometric test. 30 minutes to answer 150 questions. Don't think that those 150 questions would be too much, right? You can easily clear those 150 questions. Very simple, situation based. They give so less time for that, so that you do not think in those questions. It should be your spontaneous response, right? You do not have to be, there is nothing right or wrong in these. You just have to, you do not have to be pretentious. Whatever comes to your mind, you should state that, right? So each person has a different personality, so they test your personality using this. Apart from that, they have an aptitude test which consists of 20 questions each on all the 4 sections. Surprisingly, since many people do not write this examination, they do not know, it has a very difficult paper. Okay, so it has a very difficult paper. I appeared for the paper this year, right? The cutoff is very low. Like, if you are able to get, let's say, around 25 marks out of 80 in aptitude section, that is good enough to clear the cutoff. Okay, another thing is, it requires, you cannot write this paper in isolation. You should have a CAT or XAT score. Okay, so they consider, while application form, they will ask for your CAT score and XAT score, or XAT score, whichever you have appeared for, right? So using that score, it is done. So psychometrics you have to clear, then you have an aptitude test, then you have a descriptive test as well, right? So descriptive test is, it gives you 4 questions, 3 some sort of essays. They will give you some topic, you have to write for it, against it, and then there could be one, there is a picture perception test also in that. Okay, there is no such special eligibility, right? First thing is, you have to be a graduate. Okay, then you must have appeared in one of these 2 examinations, because they consider this score plus this score. Okay, so if you have, let us say, 90 percentile in CAT, and let's say, even if you like, depending on the difficulty level of the paper, like for example, last year, even if someone had 30 out of 80, would have easily cleared the cutoff for it's this, right? So you have to clear this section. You have to clear the descriptive test as well. Okay, so it is not only just aptitude, it is much more than aptitude, like your personality test, your creativity test. Okay, and in reasoning also, that this divergent and convergent thinking is sort of reasoning, right? It gives you reasoning. Apart from that, in that they have some special kind of questions. They ask you questions on word association test, right? They will give you some word, and they will tell 4 words, and then say that what is a common word that links all these words. Okay, so those kind of questions, and it has 1/4 negative for incorrect answer. Okay, so interesting test. sometime we might have a good discussion on this, right? What is special about this test, what about type of questions, sample questions, etc. We shall discuss sometime. Okay. Now there is one examination, PGDBA. Okay. PGDBA is post graduation diploma in business analytics. So it's some recent course. You know that business analytics is something which is in demand heavily. Okay, so it is a course which is in this course you study in 3 institutes, right? You study in IIT Kharagpur, right? You study in IIM Calcutta, and you study in ISI Kolkata. Okay, now if you talk about business analytics, you need to learn some programming. Okay, so you need to understand programming. So computer science is taught at IIT Kharagpur. Okay, then you have IIM Calcutta, where you understand the business part, you understand businesses, and in ISI Kolkata you understand statistics. So when you talk about business analytics, some of you must be business analysts, right? So you require knowledge of statistics. Okay, and that is taught at ISI Kolkata, Indian Statistical Institute. That is the best institute in the country for statistics, right? And then you have IIM Calcutta, where they teach you about businesses, how data is used in businesses, and computer science at IIT Kharagpur, that teach you Python and all those tools, the most recent ones. Okay, so that is about PGDBA. Now it has a different paper, right? It is not like aptitude, it is much more than that. It tests you on higher mathematics. So there are 15 questions on verbal, right? So find the normal ones that you have, basically like you have these things, right? Your fill in the blanks and all those sort of simple verbal. It does not have very difficult questions on verbal. Okay, then we talk about logical reasoning, just 5 questions, DI 1 set, and they have quant aptitude, which tests you on higher maths, right? So it is not your, basically your, they call it quantitative aptitude. That is not the proper that you get arithmetic and all. So it is higher maths, right? So they will test you on calculus. Basically they test you on calculus, algebra, right? All these things at a higher stage. So they will ask you matrices and determinants, differentiation, integration. Okay, yeah, so it is like engineering entrance examinations. Like they test you on higher mathematics. You will have to study what you studied in class 11th and 12th for this examination. So it is different, that it's not MBA, it is a different program. It is for business analytics, right? If for non-engineer, it was very difficult to crack, because you might not have studied calculus, you might not have studied algebra, I mean higher algebra, matrices, determinants and all those things, right? So very difficult for you. Coordinate geometry, high level questions. So it is primarily basically your class 11-12 syllabus. Okay, for non-engineers it is very difficult to crack. Okay, now it is a 3-hour duration, so obviously difficult question aate hain. Okay, and 3 for correct answer, 1 for incorrect answer. Okay, and that is the pattern of this paper. Okay, so this is another option, right? Not MBA but business analytics, PG in business analytics, right? And business analytics is also a hot sector these days, right? Even at MBA, when you go for MBA, some companies go for analyst roles. Okay, it is not necessary that you should have this degree, but yes, if you have, then you are specialized to do have a career in business analytics. Okay, average package, not sure of. Anyway, you should never be going after any package, because first of all, the CTCs that any institute tells are all inflated. Okay, so if they tell that this is the CTC, so if someone says that their CTC is 40, out of 40 you might be getting 15 will be something that you will never get, right? So that is like they will say that you will be given company shares and all, right? And for that also they have a lot of clause and all those things, right? So there are a lot of things that are added to the CTC. Secondly, like business analytics is something that which is a hot thing. right? You can vouch for it, and it is something a good profession in the future. And even today you see that business analytics is in high demand. There is a high demand for it, there is a very low supply for it, right? This is one such profession where demand is very high in the market, but the number of qualified people are very low. Okay, so that this is a good opportunity. If you love statistics, if you are good with numbers, you can appear for this examination and pursue this course. Okay, plus you're getting to study in the top 3 institutes of India across different across different verticals, right? You study computer science, programming from IIT Kharagpur, business from IIM Calcutta, and statistics from ISI Kolkata. Okay. All right, so these were some of the alternatives to CAT, right, which you can appear for. I did give a brief about them, and what is different in different examinations. Okay, so we are starting this All India Open Mock tomorrow. Tomorrow 7 a.m. it will start, right, and it will be available till it will be live for 7 days. Okay, so you have the entire week whenever you feel like if it's on the weekend, if it's on a weekday, whenever you wish to appear for the examination, you please do appear for it. Okay, this will give you a reality check that where do you stand at this juncture. Okay, and it is something that it's free for, of course. You do not have to pay anything for it. You just go to our site and register for it. Okay. All right, and these are the mentors at BYJU'S Exam Prep who prepare you for different MBA entrance examinations, and these are the ones who are among the top in the country, right? Those who have themselves have cracked examinations, are experts in their respective sections. Okay, so these are the ones who prepare you for the same. Okay, so if you found this session useful, right, you got insights about different examinations, don't forget to like the session and subscribe to our channel. Well, that's it for that, right? So we'll have these examinations discussed in detail. We'll talk about different examinations in separate sessions. This was just to give you a brief about what other options you have, right? Why you should appear for different examinations, what are the different formats they have, right? Which exam is easy, which is difficult, what are the colleges that you can target through them. Okay, so I hope you found it useful. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great night. Goodbye.